And that's a device meant to install what's been labeled white supremacy in the earth. Right? What a better way than to get the black man to worship a white image. Now his God is the same one that's whipping his back, the same one that is allowing systemic racism to continue so that they can keep their place in the earth. And guess what? The closer and closer you get to that truth as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the closer you get to escaping that thing. You can't change the reality without changing yourself. Let me get the book of Deuteronomy 28:1, Bible study. The book of Deuteronomy 28. Thumbs down, quiet down. How about that? You live up there? You shouldn't be allowed to live here. This is stolen land, ain't it? Why should I give a damn about you being comfortable in a high rise that you built on my ancestors' bones? Yeah. What tribe? The tribe doesn't fucking matter. I'm also a black man. How about that? I'm also a black man. How about that? It's also built on the bones of black men. So now you have an argument that just doesn't stand true. And just so you know, Cherokee and Blackfoot Indian are what are prominent on my mother's side of the family. If you want a further history lesson, why don't you come across the street so I can hear you? And don't let get you beat up. I'll tell you that right now. But get Deuteronomy 28:1 while they're making their raggedy ass way over here.
The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the first verse. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord.
Watch out. I said, watch out.
I will talk to you.
Get your girl out of here. Get her back, and she can speak with her mouth, but keep her hands to her damn self.
Turn off.
Because you're gonna be the one that inherit the problems if she touch any of our
Turn
property.
off the microphone.
That book has nothing to do with
No.
Then you're full
Call
of
911. Call 911. Yeah, you will. Why don't you stand here and do it? You're not gonna call 911 because there's nothing wrong with us being here, upholding our rights according to the goddamn Constitution. Now go ahead and give me that Deuteronomy 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th.
The Lord's name in vain is, what's the Lord's name? What's the Lord's name?
Who do you think God
The
is?
Lord's name is Yahweh. The Lord's name is not God. Christ said ye are gods when he referred to the Israelites, did he not? Did Christ say ye are gods, plural? Did Christ say ye are gods?
Christ quoted the Bible in Hebrew.
And it says ye are gods. It says Elohim, that's a plural word. So God's name is not going to be gods.
It is God, it's Yahweh, it's Allah.
It's Yahweh. And to say the name of God is not using his name in vain. It's to say I come in the name of God if God didn't send you. Like you, for example. You don't know nothing about God, so therefore you should stay out of godly business. Now what we're going to do is bring out the word of the Lord, and you can like I advised you earlier.
The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the first verse. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
You got to observe to do all the Most High's commandments, right? In order to be set on high above all the nations. But we're not in that state right now as blacks and Hispanics. Why? Because we have reduced ourselves. We started by reducing ourselves to idolatry, worshiping things, objects that were made with our hands or things that we fished up out of the sea instead of the one that created those things, right? Being the children of the one that created everything and being as low as to go and worship the things that man created, there's a problem with that, right? We lowered ourselves. So now we got to regain ourselves because what happened was when we didn't worship the Most High God, keep his commandments, get verse 15. This is what started to happen. We started to become what's known as cursed. We started to live degenerative lifestyles when we walked to directions opposing the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 15th verse. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And one of those curses is the fact that we will be taken to a land we don't know and have a people we don't know rule over us to where they could bring us here in shackles and slavery. They can bury us under streets that they'll tell us we can't stand on and use a goddamn microphone, even though their laws tell us that we can do so. Right? That's called oppression. How you doing, brother? This message is for you, brother. Right? That's called oppression. And so as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we need to start to realize where that oppression is taking place so that slowly but surely we can take off piece by piece, shackle by reading, line by line, right here in this book. Right? One of the truths, one of the lies about the truth that's been used to further white supremacy is this image of white Jesus. So what we're here to do is to bash that image to pieces for you blacks, Hispanics, so you can see who your God is, who your brothers and sisters are. There's a scripture that says that you should separate from your enemies and take heed of your friends. We just want to create a difference so that you can tell for sure who's who. And I'm going to tell you right now, that and her man, they're the enemy. Right? That's what's going on right now. And they surround you, and they smile at you, and they crouch down like a lion goes crouching. Right? That reference in the Bible is because it looks humble, it looks meek when the lion's crouching down if you're ignorant, but what's really going on is they're getting ready to pounce. That's what lions do when they crouch down. They get ready to pounce. Right? This demon is all around you, and he's ready to pounce at any moment's notice.
The book of Sirach, the 12th chapter, dropping it down to the 10th verse. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Never trust your enemy.